So today we have a special topic, um, clarity of consciousness and energy, dispelling illusions of the mind. Yes, this topic is very deep and we will speak about clarity and certainty. What is the most certain thing that you experience and that you can verify that is certainly so? And then we will be distinguishing what is mental stories and other concepts which cannot be fully verified or be certainly so. So tonight's satsang is about inquiry into this present moment experience. And there is only one thing really that is constantly real. It is this present moment experience. If we examine what this experience is made of, thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, five senses, objects, perceptions, and so on and so on and so on, there are so many names that people have assigned, but these names are assigned to what? Yeah, what are thoughts? What are emotions? What are feelings, sensations, perceptions, senses, objects? So scientists will tell you, and at the same time, people more sensitive to energy will tell you that it's all energy. It's all energy simply that has been named in different names. That these particular energy forms, we call them thoughts, and these particular slower energy forms, we call them emotions. And now you start getting a sense where the problems arise. Because as soon as you name the actuality, as soon as you start naming the is-ness, it becomes mentalized. Yes, it becomes like you put a filter on top of it. Yeah, so as you're looking at the tree, the mind immediately saves you time by saying in your head, that's a tree. Yeah, so the way the mind functions, it sort of tries to save you time, but what happened is that it has disconnected you from reality. That you're living in names, in thoughts, in ideas. So therefore, in actuality, every single experience and anything that can ever possibly be included in the experience is energy. And energy is not just another name that you should assign to each experience and each thing in experience. You should pause and observe. Yeah, so we're not trying to condense all the different names into one super name, energy. No, we're not trying to do that. But simply to stop naming things and to simply observe that everything is made of energy. And it's just different forms, different shapes. That's all there is to it. So even, for example, if you have a sense of separation, or loneliness, you cannot be separate from energy. It's impossible. So when you start observing that I have a feeling of separation, my mind is saying is separation, but what I actually feel is a certain energy tension. But wait a moment, if this is the energy tension and all the other energies are all around me already and making my whole experience, separation is nonsense. It doesn't exist. Yeah, what exists is the idea of separation. And then what happens, naming is a second layer, it's a filter. But then there is a third layer, which is my story about separation. And that's where it becomes interesting, so to speak. You know, because you can make up any kinds of stories about any particular things. And this is the wonderland of the illusion. It's the theme park of the mind. You know, anything is possible, literally. You know, that's where the mind has revealed all possible possibilities of stories and ideas and assumptions and worries and doubts and anxieties and anything that the mind can think about and imagine and illusion itself with, it has done it, and it has put every single human being on the magical spell. So if we come back to a simple inquiry, that everything you see, that everything you experience experientially is made of energy. It is energy, and none of it is separate from another of it. It's impossible by the definition of energy, by the fact of it. And luckily, the scientists will confirm the same, because this is the actuality of existence, of the universe. So that's most important thing, number one. And number two is that where is all this energy happening? In me. This whole experience is happening in myself, but not the little self, which is the little story of the little I, which is created in the head and sustained in the head and wrapped around these all beautiful stories and ideas. It's not the little I. The little I is also happening in me, and that me is the big self, consciousness or awareness. Awareness is also directly verifiable with a simple question, am I aware? It's an immediate yes. And then immediately also what you can verify is that there is experience. There's this whole field of energy. So you can only be certain about two things in every present moment, that there is awareness and there is energy. And they're not separate. Any idea of separation would be just idea, just a thought, just another understanding arising as energy formulating in your head, and then a thought hits you, oh, I understand it, I got it. It's just another thought, another idea, another realization. But what's actually happening is the happening, it's the experience. And that all experience unseparately is made of energy. So thus, step by step you can inquire in every moment to verify what is the only certainty in the present moment. And the only possible certainty is that energy is here. It's everything that you are aware of, everything that's happening right now. It's changing. Yeah, every moment something is changing, a thought comes in, emotion comes in, a sensation in your body changes, the weather changes, and experience changes. That's the nature of experience, it's to change. Anything that you think about experience, you cannot ever be certain about it. Because it's very relative only to your point of view. And then you will speak to another person and they will say, no, I think differently about what is the meaning of the tree. And another person will say, oh, I'm a biologist, and I know much more about the meaning of the tree. And then a scientist, and then a ecologist, and everybody will have different meanings, but everybody is looking at the same thing, a tree, and that tree is the same thing, is energy, and that's the only thing that everybody can be certain of. And that is the clarity and certainty, that only this energy is that you can be certain of and clear of. So it's actually your home, it's the only ground there is. And it's happening in your consciousness. So in your consciousness, you are aware, and then of course there is this whole experience happening. You're aware of your little self, of the ego self, of this body self, but somehow you're also aware of the walls and ceilings and couch and mirror and other things in your room. So how can they be separate? And the only certainty you can ever have is that it's all here. You may want to call it energy, but it's simply better to just observe that certainly it's here. And certainly I am aware of it. So can anyone be certain of anything else than fundamentally that, which is the consciousness itself and the energy making up every experience? Now, where the speculations come in is when we start naming things. And the third layer is making up ideas and stories about those things, assigning the meaning to the named things. You see how it gets deeper into the mind. You name a thing, you make a story, then you assign a meaning, then you start connecting other related patterns that you thought of to make it into a belief. And here you go, you're just getting more and more and more lost in the mind. And more separated from experience, from reality in the present moment, into the mind. Yeah, so that's being lost in the mind. Yeah, you can travel through these layers and get more and more lost in the mind, and then feel total anxiety about the future, totally not knowing what's going on, having doubts about everything, having all kinds of regrets of the past experiences and assigned meanings and this and that. Yeah, so it becomes more and more obvious that we need to arrive at something that we can be certain of. And all these ideas as well of what is consciousness and how is enlightenment and how is this and how is that. There are so many ideas that you can't be certain of if it's gonna be like that or not, if it's gonna last or not. But let me tell you something, that experience, energy making up the whole experience is never gonna be gone. Even if you dream, the dreams are made of energy in consciousness. You are aware of the dreams. If you meditate, you go into 5th dimension, 10th dimension, guess what? Still energy in consciousness. If you're hovering and lingering in a peaceful void, guess what? Still energy in consciousness. Then you can inquire further to find out that energy and consciousness are not separate. They are both here. You can further inquire into your identity. Who am I? To find out that you can't verify who you are in none of your thoughts, in none of your assumptions. And the only thing that you can truly verify is the present is-ness of consciousness, awareness, and this experience happening. So who am I leads into the open is-ness. Okay, does anyone have questions about this topic? Okay, Leopold, what's your question?
Is it possible through love reach consciousness?
Can you
Love
repeat it?
energy.
Can you repeat it?
Is it possible through energy of love reach consciousness?
So let's examine this question. Is it possible through energy of love? But how about energy of peace? How about energy of happiness, energy of joy, energy of bliss, energy of anything? Yeah, so you're searching for enlightenment through love. Yes, but let's simplify it, that love is a certain feeling, sensation, it's a certain energy. And what you can be certain of that will stay is not love, but energy. Because love can go, as probably it already happened quite a few times. Love can be more in the background, it can be more in the foreground, it can be in the heart, but other days you're not so happy, something went wrong, love is not there. So do not rely on on the changing forms of energy, because that is not stable by a simple inquiry. It's not stable. What is stable, that energy will be here always. It's never gonna leave you, for sure. Even if you evaporate in the vacuum, if somebody throws you into the space, you're gonna just turn into a dust and into another form of energy. Yeah, so it's just the energy is just gonna transform. So do not rely on changing phenomena such as love to reach a certainty of present moment existence.
I thought when you reach present moment of existence, that you are always in love.
You might be usually in love if that's your energetic configuration, if that is natural to your energetic configuration. What to be more precise, what is meant usually by that when a realized person says that love is everything and everywhere, it is unconditional love. It is the truth of present moment. It is not a certain feeling in the heart. It is the truth of existence, that all is energy, all is present, all is maintained, sustained unconditionally. This energy always knows, its intelligence that always knows how to make things happen. And that is called the unconditional love or absolute love. Because consciousness loves itself and it loves its experience, because it's creating its experience. Consciousness, God created the experience, the whole universe. It loves the whole universe unconditionally. It's a very different understanding than human emotion of love. The unconditional love is 1,000,000 times larger and unconditioned, not conditioned, not dependent on the heart chakra. In the eyes of God, even destruction is love, because it's finishing of the cycle of the old. Love is universal harmony. Of course, now we're facing certain disharmonies and distortions, manipulations, but it is unconditional love which simply shines this radiance for these distortions, manipulations to be healed into the natural order of the way the universe is. So love is this truth of how all is, and it's unconditioned. It's not dependent to the little I, or to a human behavior, or to a single heart chakra. The real love takes care, so to speak, of all, is all, maintains all, in the best possible ways, according to manifestation. Because we are here down in the 3D, so to speak, and there are some distortions here, so therefore there's a bit of pain, a bit of suffering. And there is a lot of ignorance of how things really are. That's the good news, is that as you disillusion your ideas about this and that, you come to the is-ness of the now, to how things really are, certainly. And that is a liberation, that's freedom, that's love, if you want to call it love. Don't call it anything. The is-ness is. It's made up of all that's within experience in consciousness, not separate.
Best speech ever.
Good,
Thank you.
good. Yes, inquiry. Okay, Milosh, you had a question?
Yes, hello. Wait. Yeah, consciousness and energy is not two things, right?
No,
Okay.
it's not separate.
So separation is also energy, one with the rest, right?
Yes. Separation, it's a certain energetic sensation. It's energy sensation.
Hmm.
It's not separate from all other energy and consciousness.
That's why we call it illusion, and
Yes.
so it's 100% separated, but not really. Like can't be separated. So we have to feel it, right? So
It appears to be separate.
hmm.
That's called the illusion, that it appears to be so, but upon inquiry, it's not real.
Logically, sure. From experience, sometimes we know it, right? So it's already, we can't believe so much anymore in this. But what to do? It's the mind here, the head, yeah, is creating this feeling of lack and separation from the rest. Right?
Yes. So observe, be present.
Mm.
Yes, observe, be present. You can say there is a feeling, or there is the energy of separation, there is energy of loneliness. It's energy appearing in all other energy. And this is how the mind will start to disillusion, to drop these ideas and names.
Because just to relax is not enough. Then you relax into um, separation again, right?
Into energy of relaxation.
It's relaxation, but the normal relaxation is just coming back to separation. It's
Yes,
like normal people are relaxed but totally separate.
yes.
And we are not so separate, but not so relaxed, and it's different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The goal of today's meeting is clarity. It's clarity and certainty of what is undeniably present here. Yeah, what is all the mind comes up is speculative, hypothetical. Yeah, and or it's a smaller part of the whole thing. Like feeling of separation, it's a smaller part. Yeah, it's like a drop of water in the ocean. It is water of the ocean, or a wave rising in the ocean, but it is ocean. So feeling of separation is an energy sensation in all the rest energies in the present moment. So that's how you can kind of short circuit your mind to confirm to yourself that separation is not real, actually. And then everything that you were thinking about it and all the stories that you were making up will start dropping. because the only certainty is certainty of what is actually here. And this is how you can disillusion by inquiry, observation, being present, and allowing these false ideas and feelings to dissolve into the infinite energy, because they are one with it, part of it, one with it. They're not separate. And the most beautiful thing, that everything that you ever have experienced is within you. And when this small I dissolves, what is you is all that is here. It's awareness of all that is here. And awareness cannot be, the energy cannot be separated from awareness. I don't know anybody who has achieved that. And nobody ever spoke that they have managed to do that, to separate the universe from consciousness. Because everything that is manifested is in consciousness. I know you understand it, but to very simply put for everyone, is that you are aware, that's a fact. It's confirmable in a split of a second. And what's also confirmable in a split of a second, there's experience. It's all energy. And then all the complications begin. What does it mean? What do I know about it? What do I think about it? My story? What's the purpose? And what is existence? What is that? And that's how people have been in this mental reality for thousands of years. Yeah, and nobody figured out in the mind. Yeah, you can only drop the mind. You can only use the mind to inquire into the truth. That's the only best use of the mind, to inquire into the truth, so that the mind purifies itself from all the layers of illusions and filters. And in this observation, we will do a practice now together to come step by step into observation, into being present, into noticing experience, being aware of experience, and then seeing what comes up in you as a veil, as a filter, as a layer. Yeah, so we're gonna do this practice now together, and after that we can also dedicate some time for questions. So make yourself comfortable, and we can take a few moments to slow down. It's always good. To slow down and to feel your breath. To slow down from thinking, understanding into feeling, being. As you slow down, you connect more with the feeling of yourself and the present moment. You can follow your breath for a little while if your mind is active. And whatever you feel, just recognize that it's energy. Your body is energy too. And anything that you feel and sense and experience is all energy. It's all one. And then you can observe what comes up in your mind. What is the filter? You can recognize that the mind is very seductive and sticky. It can very easily grab your attention into thoughts, understandings, stories, meanings. But even if you find yourself in the mind, that is also energy in the big energy of experience. And as you come to feel the whole experience, you can come to understand that it's all happening in you, in your consciousness, in awareness. And they are together, they're not separate. This experience and your awareness are not separate. If you go into some particular feeling and say, oh, this peace feels so nice and this love feels so good. The purpose of this meeting is not to hang out in a particular energy. It is to recognize that even this lovely feeling is also energy in the big energy experience of all, of everything appearing in you, because most certainly it is you who is experiencing it. And then there are emotional energies and feeling energies, psychological energies, all kinds of energies can be part of this experience in the body, in your personal energy field, in the one energy field. And take a few moments to observe how you drift away, where you drift away. It is a practice of inquiry, observation, being present with the veils, confirming deeper to yourself that all is energy in you, in awareness. The mind has assigned names to different forms of energies. And that's what you call what you know. Observing whether this experience is a veil, veiled. If it's so, no worries, because this veiled experience is part of the whole experience, appearing in you. This is how the clarity and certainty of existence, experience, reality grows within you, so that you recognize the truth, the is-ness. And the mind surrenders the stories, the veils, starts to disillusion. All the ideas that something is supposed to be like this, or you hope for something to be some way, or dream about something, it's all made up of the mind. Because assumption, hope, and dreams are also little parts of energy in totality of all energy experience. So we are starting to recognize the actuality or is-ness of now. Actuality of now. And clarity of now. For those who are ready, you can start coming back from meditation practice. And of course, if you want to stay longer, you're welcome to stay as long as you need. So this is a continuous practice to inquire into every moment of your experience, whether it is veiled, and how you recognize the clarity of actuality. And then you can clearly see that that is another idea, that is another assumption, that is another hypothesis, or a hope, a dream, imagination. And combining them together can create endless stories and confusion. So with this clear seeing, you are cutting sharply through the mind. And you begin to disidentify from these veils of the mind. You begin to arrive at a certainty of every moment, actuality, what is always certainly so. The beauty is that single consciousness can have infinite experiences. Through every one of you, through every living soul, through every living being, there are infinite energy modulations for the single awareness to be aware of all these possible energy modifications. And that is what is really happening in the highest sense, that the absolute consciousness is experiencing energy every moment, changing differently in infinite ways. So therefore you become even less interested in experiences, and you become more interested into the awareness itself. And that is the stabilization in consciousness. Because experiences, life situations come and go. This body does what it does. The circumstances are as they are. They're all objective. And the freedom is returning to your true self, yourself, as consciousness, as awareness. And whatever flaws your personality has, it's in development. It's obvious that your body is growing, that you are learning new skills, that you're improving on your qualities, that you're making your life better. All of that is experience, changing. And identifying with experiences that change is foolish, because that will never produce any real happiness, any sustainable happiness. So therefore, like Ramana Maharishi used to say, to whom does this world appear? If it appears to the person, then there are all the problems. If it appears to the self, it is just an appearance. It is important only to the degree of to whom and to what it is important. At the human level, of course, you need to eat and sleep and do all the things that you need to do. That's for sure. But who is experiencing this human experience, and what is this human experience? It is energy playing out, just like the movie is playing out. just like a story written on a book is being read, just like being on a train, the train will take you to the destination. So therefore the freedom is to recognize the actuality of experience and to recognize that all of this is happening in you as awareness. And the more you sit into it, the more you drop these ideas and identifications, illusions. And the freedom strengthens.